So I'm gonna go over number 1 and number 3 because I had questions on those. So number 1 says, the table shows the heights of the 10 tallest mountains in the world. So here you see the different mountains, and here you see the different heights. So A says, find the minimum, maximum, and the range of the data. So if we recall, the minimum is the smallest number, the maximum is the largest number, and the range is the smallest number minus the largest number minus the smallest number. So the minimum, so I'm going to go over to my notebook paper and say number 1A, the minimum is, so what's nice about these is I think they're in order from shortest to tallest. So the minimum number is 26,660. So 26,660. The maximum is the tallest mountain, which is 29,035. So 29,35. And then the range is simply subtracting those. Oops. The range is taking the largest number and subtracting the smallest number. So we get 2375. So the difference in the shorter of the 10 mountains and the tallest of the 10 mountains is 2,375 feet. Okay, so then part B says, construct a bar graph for this data set. Use the ID numbers to identify the mountains. So what's nice about that is we don't have to write down the names of them. In the graph, we could just put 1 through 10 to identify which bar represents which mountain. Okay, so if we're doing this, we obviously don't want to start at 1 when we're doing our graph. We want to choose values that make sense for the numbers that we have. All right, so we probably want to start at maybe 26,000 and go up to about 30,000, right? So 26,000 is less than this and 30,000 is a little bit more than this. And so our numbers are all in between those. And so we'll be able to incorporate every single mountain height on a graph. So let's draw it. So we, of course, want to name our graph. So we say mountain heights. Now we said we want to go from 26,000 to 30,000. So let's see. That should work. So the mountain height is going to go here. So we'll put height. And we're going to say in thousands of feet. And then, I should have given myself more room, but that's okay. And then we're going to start at 26,000. So I'm going to put 26, and I can put 26 and not 26,000 because I wrote right here that these numbers represent thousands of feet. So what's really nice about putting proper labels is that it's a shortcut when you write your numbers. So it's 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30 is as high as we need to go, okay? And now because we didn't start 0 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 30. We started at 26 and then went by ones. we have to put what's called a break. And it's just this jagged line here. We have to put a break in our graph to indicate that we did not start at 0 and go by ones. We wanted to start at 26 and then go by ones. Okay, so that just says there's a break in this data. So if you're ever not starting at 0 and going by the same number each increment, you have to just do a break to say we don't want any of those numbers below that number, but we want to go start at that number and go by, in our case, ones. Okay, so these bars are going to look very close together because these numbers are fairly close together. So they said instead of having to write out each mountain's name, we can just use the ID. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to indicate each mountain. And we're going to put here mountain ID. Okay, so now the first mountain, if we go and look back at our data, says the first mountain, which is the highest mountain, is 29,035 feet. So we want to make a bar up to 29,039 feet. So it's just, you know, approximately, but make sure it's at the 29, right? Then the second mountain says 28,250. So for the next bar, we're going to go to 28,000 and just slightly above it for that 200. So I'm connecting my bars. You can leave spaces between them. This might look a little ugly in a second because they're not going to be the same, but that's okay. The third mountain is 28,2. So these are 50 different. So they're going to look very, very close together because I didn't use a really wide range with my graph. I probably should have done 26 and then 26.5, 27, 27.5 to spread it out a little bit more, but I didn't, so we're gonna go with this. So this is just really, really close. The fourth one says 27.9. So again, that's just gonna be really close to the other ones as well, because it's just below 28. Then we have 27.8. So again, just very close. These mountains are very close in height with respect to the way that I did my graph. Okay. Number 6 says 27.5. So it's about halfway between 27 and 28. And the 7th one says 26.8. So we're about probably right here. The 8th one says 26.7. So it's very close to this bar, maybe just slightly lower. The 9th one says 26.750. Look, those are only 10 feet apart. So it's gonna be, again, like it's just so close to that one. And the 10th one is 26.6. So we'll say probably 26.6. Again, super close to these ones, right? It's a little bit lower. So there's not a whole lot of differentiation in these bars because they're so close together and I didn't spread out my graph very far. Again, if I spread these out more, it would stretch these. You'd see more of a differentiation between the heights in them. But you know what? As long as we got it, we got it. And again, I like to shade my bars. I don't know why, but I'm going to because I like to. All right. So that's number 1. I also had a question about number 3 that was raised. So let's do number 3 as well. So number 3 says, let's look at it real quick. The table shows approximately how long it took members of Abdul's math class to complete a cross number puzzle. A, show this data on a dot plot. Okay, so a dot plot looks like this, All right, so we want to look at these. We say the time in minutes, the number of students in each of those times. So what we need to do is we need to draw a number line from 2 to 10 for our time. So the line will represent the time, and then we'll put dots above these times, and we'll put this many dots above each of those times. So let's do it. Let me give myself room. So let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I kind of did a really long number line, but that's okay. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You can label all of them, it doesn't matter. So now, if we look over here, it says, the students who completed the puzzle in 2 minutes, there was only one student that completed it in 2 minutes. So above the 2-minute mark, we're going to put a dot. And just one dot because there's just one student who finished it in that time. Then it says it took 2 students 3 minutes to complete the puzzle. So we're going to put 2 dots above the 3. The next one, so there's no one who completed it in 4 minutes, but the next number time is 5 minutes. So there were 6 students who completed the puzzle in 5 minutes. So we go to the 5-minute mark, and we're going to put 6 dots to represent those 6 students. Then the next one says there were 8 students who completed it in 6 minutes. So above the 6-minute mark, we're going to do 8 dots to represent those 8 students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then no students completed it in 7 minutes. However, in 8 minutes, there were 3 students. So above the 8, we're going to do 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. And it says there was 1 student who completed it in 10 minutes. So above the 10, we'll put 1 dot. Okay? So that's how you create a dot plot of that data. Okay? So part B, so that was part A. Part B says, what is the range of the data? Now, so if we look at the data, we say, well, the largest amount of students is 8. And the smallest amount of students would be 1. And so our range is 7. So here, again, all I did was I said, okay, we have a 1, a 2, a 6, an 8, a 3, a 1. Right? So our data set is 1, 1, 2, 3, 6, 8 in order. So it's saying the range, again, is the smallest number, or sorry, the largest number minus the smallest number. Right? So I just took 8 and subtracted 1 to get 7. And I know it's kind of confusing because you might think, well, I'm just going to take, why isn't it the time numbers? Why is it the number of students numbers? But here we're looking at these numbers, not these numbers when we're trying to find the range. Okay? So if you have any other questions on those problems in particular or any other problem on today's worksheet, be sure to pop it into the Teams chat and I'll be able to maybe create another video to help you understand it better.